Hey guys, today I want to talk about something I really don't like to talk about, and it's about problems that we have in the expat community. And first, I'm going to start out with some of the gossip stuff that we have going on in our community. And it's gotten so bad now that I decided to just not do the expat dinners anymore. That's how bad it's gotten, and just stop doing it for a while. We've had problems with some of the girls in the expat community, the girlfriends, I should say. Whenever somebody breaks off with an expat, we usually start to see problems. They have to trash the guy on the way out and start accusing him of all kinds of things and send pictures and of this and pictures of all the stuff that's going on and like snap what do they call them, snapshots of the conversations that are private conversations, and these girls will start passing this around in the community to try to badmouth or make the person look bad or what have you. And it's terrible for somebody to do that. You don't take somebody's private life and throw it out to all the people in the community. You leave it alone. If you break off with a guy, break off with the guy and move on. No need to destroy the guy, and there's no need for the guy to destroy the girl. And usually it's not the guy destroying the girl, it's the girl destroying the guy, trying to take away his peace. They want to find out everything that's going on with him so they can still go around and trash him. They want to find out if he moved in with another girl, what have you, things like that. That's the part that's terrible. And what happened was we had one guy here. He recently broke up with his girlfriend, and he broke it up peacefully as much as he could. She stole some things. She did some nasty things to him. I'm not going to say who it is or anything. And he's ready to move on. He wants to move on. He lives alone now. He had somebody that was passing by his house. It happened to be one of the expat girlfriends. And I guess the expat was visiting the neighbor or something like that. Well, the girl come up in the window, started looking in the window to see if he had another girl living in there, looking around. And she couldn't see him because it was dark in there, but he could see her looking in, and he's like, what the hell is this? But it just shows how much of a busybody some of these people in the expat community can be, like these women. And it was just so that they could report back to the girl, oh, he's got another girl living in there or what have you. They just need to know people's business. They're very nosy. And I'm starting to find out that some of the people that I trusted the most are probably some of the worst culprits of doing this stuff and being busybodies and gossipers in the community. And we also had a gentleman come into my house. He was visiting. He's one of the expats that lives near me. I'm not going to say who it is. He come into the house. I had my driver, who also does work around my house, there doing some work. And Roland is pretty much a free bird with me. He can, I told him, if you have somebody, when he's driving for me, I tell him, hey, listen, if I have you booked for that day and it's not an important booking and you get another booking, let me know. I can probably switch it to another day or whatever. I'm pretty flexible on stuff like that. But like when I have people doing work on my house and stuff like that, I'm not that flexible. I want to get the work done in my house. And I think he kind of might have carried that over, but and thought that he could do that as far as the work on the house a little bit too. But that kind of takes away the fault from him, okay, for about what I'm about to say. When the expat was inside the house, he was looking at the workmanship and stuff like that, and he says, well, hey, I could use him to put up a TV and do some work around the house. I said, yeah, after he's done, that's fine. You can he can do that after he's done. And he's sitting there and he's saying, well, I could really use him tomorrow. And I said, no, after he's done. I told him again, there's 2 times now. And he says, well, it's for your best friend, blah blah blah. So I'm like, because I used to be friends with this person's girlfriend, and we were really close friends, and he kept saying it's for your best friend. I'm like, my best friend is my girlfriend, and it's like, just leave it alone. And I was kind of getting pissed because he was kind of like treating me like I'm stupid or something, you know. And he had already been told like 3 times by this time, and I'm like, no, you're not gonna. This I says no. I need him tomorrow, and then he just spoke with the Roland the driver, and said, hey, you know, let's go over to my house and I'll show you what I need done. Well, the next day rolls around, and Roland didn't hear the whole conversation. He was in the bathroom, you know, doing something in there, fixing what he was doing and packing up his stuff. So he didn't hear the whole conversation. So I don't think he knew. So he went over there, and the guy told him to basically come the next day or whatever. But the guy was told not to take him. I've specifically told him no, like 3 or 4 times while he was there. And the next day, we wake up, and he's over there working, and he's getting work done on this guy's house. And I'm like, this guy's a freaking jerk. You know, that's something you just don't do that. You don't do that to people. You don't go into somebody's house and steal their worker. And I've had this happen before to somebody, you know, with somebody else before. And the guy started paying the guy more to work for him and stuff like that, and basically stole them from me that way, which I did, you know, it's not something you go into somebody's house and you do, or on somebody's property and you steal their help away from them, especially when they're like their contractor. Well, this guy, my girlfriend went over there in the morning and says, hey, why did you take him when you knew that he was finishing up work? And they both kind of looked at her, like, he kind of smiled and looked at her, you know, and just didn't say nothing. And my girlfriend come back over, and she says, I just told, you know, basically told, I could hear her out there yelling at him, you know. And then when I got back from the mall later on, I really laid into him really heavy. I just told him off. I was swearing, I was angry, I was pissed. I told him, I said, you don't do stuff like that to people, dude. You just don't do stuff like that. And he's got a big Christian cross on the door and stuff like that. And I says, you know, you're just a freaking hypocrite. You're a hypocrite Christian. And I was really angry. I was really upset about it because of what he had did to me. And I told him, I said, you're not going in my house anymore after doing something like that in my house. You steal somebody right up from underneath me, and then you steamrolled me. But steamrolling means like when you keep telling somebody no, but they don't accept the no. He steamrolled me basically, and it was really, really pissed me off, you know, really bad, to the point where I don't want to even associate with those people anymore. And unfortunately, I have to live near them, you know. And it makes life really miserable when you run into people that do stuff like that to you. It's kind of sick when people think that they can just crap on you because you're a good person and you help people and stuff like that, that you're supposed to always give in when they want you to give in, and you know, and that's kind of a narcissistic quality that these people, I'm noticing a lot of expats have, that they're first, you know. And these people, some of these people, I've even heard some of them, what they do is to get on an airplane first, what they do is they use a wheelchair to get on the plane, so that they can, even though they're not physically handicapped in that way, their legs are totally useful, they can walk and all that stuff, but they want to get on the airplane first, so they tell people that they are disabled so they can get onto the plane and be loaded onto the plane first. That's sick when people do stuff like that. And I've heard this about several people, you know, that do this type of stuff, and I've seen and heard from some of these people, and I see this stuff and I just shake my head and I'm saying, that takes a real scumbag to be doing something like that, you know. And I'm starting to see like these narcissistic qualities amongst some of the expats that we have. They just think about themselves. I mean, we have a guy, he's basically, I put stuff out sometimes, like a chair out here or something, so I can sit out here at night or during the day if I want to sit down. They grab the chair and they put it over in front of their house. They say, well, you didn't use it, so we took it. I'm like, it's stuff like that that really aggravates me as a person, you know, because you ask people. You have no right to other people's property to take something just because you think, well, I'm so and so and I'm number one all the time and I can have whatever I want. You don't take people's property off them. You don't steal things or say, well, I borrowed it, you know, because you weren't using it. You don't have the right to do stuff like that. And this is some of the things that happens in the expat community here. People borrow stuff, they don't return it. Most of the expats around here return stuff to me in a fairly timely manner, and a lot of people don't return stuff at all unless I go over and ask them for the stuff to be returned. And I don't like to go chasing down stuff, but this is the stuff that really irks me as an expat, and this week has been one of those weeks. People butting into my business, people trying to find out my business, people talking shit about you. These are the things in the expat community that's bad, that the American assholes bring over here. Now, I'm not saying everybody's like this. The majority of expats are good, decent people. I have some really good friends. I have Rich and many other people in Eugene and tons of other expats that are very close friends of mine. And I have a lot of Filipino friends that are very close friends of mine. And I've just decided to kind of pull back a little bit as an expat and kind of put more time for me and my girlfriend and for me, because I got people always coming over to the house, people that I really don't even know. They want to visit with me, and I'm going to have to put like a stop to that at some point, because I have people calling me and they say, hey, Steve, we came to Tracy. We're at the hotel right now. We're gonna come over to your house, okay? Are you going to be there? And I'm like, and this happens almost weekly, okay? Where somebody comes here and they come in here, they're looking to live. And what they want to do is they want to pick my brain to see, whether the place is good for them, or they're picking my brain to try to find a place or whatever. And I've had so many people come back to me when I've told them, do your due diligence. And they don't do their due diligence because I'll tell them, well, here's a couple of rentals for you. Go check with them and make sure you ask all the questions. And then they rent the place immediately. Within 5 minutes, they look at the place, they like it, and they don't ask any questions. And they run into trouble. And then they come back to me and they complain. And some of the people, I understand I was the one who told them about the place. But I always tell people, make sure you ask questions, make sure everything's good there. And then the people just didn't even bother checking. They rented the place and they signed a lease for 6 months or a year. And when they try to get out, they end up losing a lot of money or what have you, or they get mad at me. And I just don't get it sometimes. Like when you help people, you tell people that you should know that you need to do your due diligence too. Don't count on other people all the time. I've helped a lot of people. Most of the times I don't have any problems with people. 95% of the time I don't have any problems with people. It's that 5% that really kills it for you, and that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of pulling back more. And I'll still help people with their SRVs. I'll do that. I don't have a problem with any of those people that do the SRV stuff. We rarely run into any problems. Maybe like 1 or 2% we run into a problem with it's usually the person themselves. They usually have some mental disorder or something like that, anger issues or whatever, and we just say, hey, we can't deal with you anymore. But the people that want to come here to live, I'm not going to facilitate that no more. It's just, you want to come to Tracy and you want to find a place here, find it on your own. I just don't want to help too many people to live near me anymore, because I find that when they move here into the community, we start seeing them unpacking their mental health baggage here and their issues. A lot of these guys, some of them have never even been married before, and they bring a lot of those issues with them. They think that they can just walk all over. And the reason why they never got married, because nobody would marry them back home. Nobody would want to be with somebody like these people, because they're miserable people. They're miserable to they treat people like garbage with their narcissistic behavior, and it just, after a while you get tired of it. And the biggest culprits of this are people usually that come over here and tell people that they're a Christian. When you have to tell me that you're a Christian and I don't see it in your behavior, that's a red flag right there that you're a piece of work. And usually ends up being that way. I find that the biggest problems I have, and I'm a Christian. I don't have to go out and advertise. I'm telling you for the sake of this, of what I'm telling you. I don't go out there and advertise. It's, hey, I'm a Christian. I don't tell people. I let people know by helping them. And I see these people coming over here and they have to tell you that they're a Christian, and they even put like crosses on their front doors or what have you, and they go around blabbing that they're a Christian. And those are the worst. Those are the worst people that I usually meet are the so-called Christians, but they're not Christians. They're not Christians at all, because when they do something to you, they do not even, they don't even fathom what they're doing. They don't even care what they do to you. They don't even see any wrong in what they're doing to you when they're doing it. And that's a narcissist. And these narcissistic pieces of shits that come over here and hide behind Christianity are always the worst. And that's what they are, narcissistic pieces of shit. You know, and I hate to call somebody that, but that's what they are. And they make it very difficult for us to have happiness over here. And that's why I've kind of pulled back. And I see a lot of other expats also over here. They don't hang around with that many people. They hang around with people that they know are their true friends, you know, and that's the way I'm getting, that I'm backing off and being closer with my friends now. But anyway, guys, I wanted to put that out there. I thought it'd be kind of interesting for you guys to learn how we live and the problems that we do have over here, because we do have problems over here. And remember, you're going to have problems too. Gossip between the women here in the Philippines, it's part of the culture here. You know, it's a sad part of the culture. You're going to have problems with the hypocrite Christians over here. Those are usually the worst ones. The people that we've run into that have to keep on shoving down your throat that they're a Christian. When you tell me that you're a Christian more than 3 or 4 times, that's a red flag to me. Because usually that's the worst people that I find over here, are the hypocritical Christians over here that are going around hiding behind the Christian faith, but they're not a Christian. They don't practice their Christianity. A true Christian usually doesn't even have to tell you that they're a Christian. You can see it in the way that they act and the way that they behave. I don't go around telling people I'm a perfect Christian and stuff like that, because I'm not. I rarely ever tell anybody that I'm a Christian. But for the sake of this conversation, I say it because of the fact that I don't advertise it. I don't put a cross on my front door. I don't go around telling people all the time that I'm a Christian, because usually those are the people that mess up the first, and they're usually the biggest narcissists that you could ever meet over here. And I see that in almost every person I meet over here that tells me that they're a Christian. I've met some really, really good Christian missionaries over here that were American. Very beautiful, wonderful people. And they don't act like these idiots that hide behind Christianity. They show people that they're Christians. They don't tell people that they're Christians. You can tell that they're Christians and know that they're Christians by the way that they work. And that's the truth. You know, if you've got to go around telling people you're probably not. You know, and that's just a fact of life over here that I've noticed. But anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And take heed to my warnings. Be careful all the time over here. Don't let anybody get into your circle too much that you can't trust. I've let some people into my circle and afterwards found out I could not trust them. And I'll never trust them again. You know, when somebody does something to you really bad and you let them back into your circle again afterwards, if they apologize or whatever, usually you just giving them a second chance to get a second bite at you. And in this case here, it's one of those cases. Anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. Hope you enjoyed today's show.